because right now our contract is void because of these title issues. Even if I can just help you all clear the title and you go with someone else, I'm fine with that. What's up YouTube, Bismath here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, you are going to watch me cancel out of a deal, cancel out of a wholesale real estate contract. Well, just smash that like button. It really supports the channel. And then comment down below on how has your experience been when you have to walk away from a deal? You know, how did the process go? Were you protected by your purchase and sales agreement? Did you have the right and proper clause, cancellation clause in your contract, and different things like that? And then if you all are interested in learning how to wholesale real estate A to Z, check my online course down below. You can click it. You know, right now we're running a sale for $100 off. It teaches you A to Z how to wholesale real estate. And then when you're ready for that next step and having me as your coach, guiding you how to wholesale real estate, you can apply also on my website. But if you're interested first in the online course, check it out down below. Before we go into the details of this deal, let's actually go to the property. I have to pick up my key lockbox. All right, you also have the lockbox right here, and I left the key somewhere on the property so the seller will know where to retrieve the key. And so we'll go back home and I'll explain exactly why I'm canceling out of this deal. And then next, you all will hear me talk to the seller and explain to them why I'm backing out of this deal. Like, you never want to do that to the seller, but there's just different circumstances here with this property and this deal that I just do not have the tools or resources to help them with. And so I still want to provide them some sort of resource. And so I'm just going to refer them to my closing agent, my closing attorney, so they can fix all these title issues and kind of get rid of a huge problem in the backyard. All right, you all, so we're back home, and basically this is the situation with this deal. I got the property under contract at $100,000. All fixed up, the property is probably worth $170,000 to $180,000. But with this property, it was like in the middle of a rehab, and the seller was doing all their work on their own. The main issues are, number one, the seller wasn't exactly telling me 100% truth. Before we talk even more about, you know, the different issues with this deal, I just want to say, you all try your best not to put a property under contract that you do not know the details of, right? You do not want to put a seller through that issue, through canceling out of a contract. But as beginners, even as veterans, you do walk away from deals. You do have to cancel out of contracts because of inspections, because you find out something that you didn't know before about the titles or about just about the property itself. So you all, I'm not trying to advocate you all to cancel out of all your contracts. Like, if you all promise the seller something, you have to fulfill it. But sometimes in certain situations, you do have to cancel out of a contract. All right, you all, so with this particular property, I guess the main issues were, number one, it was in the middle of a rehab when the seller gave me the property. And I come to find out later that the seller was basically essentially doing all the work themselves, right? They were doing the electric, the plumbing, and they didn't have certified people doing all this work on the property. So when I had a buyer actually look at it, they were just showing me all these problems. Like, there was pipes showing in the front yard, there was different electrical things, and he was just saying he probably has to rewire everything, change the plumbing, and just make sure everything is certified. So that's the first, I guess, red flag in this deal that I should have known earlier. The second thing is that, see, right behind the property, there's a trailer. And at first, I just thought it was a neighbor. They had their own mailbox and everything. But later, as I dug into it more and more, I found out that trailer was actually not part of any property, that they were just living off of the land for free. It was right by the train tracks, and they parked their trailer right over there by the train tracks. And so they're probably using the city water sewer system for free and electrical things for free. And they just lived there. And then later, the seller didn't even tell me that. The seller is actually related to the person in the trailer, right? And so I walked the property with them before. I was like, okay, what's the deal with this trailer here? Because it was so close to the backyard of that property. And even my buyers, when they were looking at it, they were always constantly bringing this trailer up. So that was another issue. Then let's go to I guess the final issue, which is it just has so much title issues. So I initially went to the title company just with the contract because I needed more information about this property. I talked with my closing agent and my closing attorney, and I just wanted to know what's up with this trailer. Is this trailer on a separate deed? Is it outside of the property lines? What's the deal with this? And they did all this research, and so number one, I find out, like I assumed, that trailer's not supposed to be there. And then through the seller, I found out that trailer was actually using the same mailbox as that property, and that's a huge issue, right? Imagine me getting a property, fixing it up, and then I'm selling it to a buyer, a retail buyer, and they're sharing mailbox with a complete stranger, right? The seller should have told me that early on, but they didn't. Then on top of that, with all that going on, the title company gave me this email when they did their final search that this property has, let me read the email actually. Closing agent is funny. He was like, this isn't good news. They couldn't find other thieves of the property in that area, which means that as far as we can determine, the trailer is not part of the property. All right, so there's nothing I can do. I can't just kick those people out, right? And then I don't even know if the train station actually knows someone is living off their land. But they did find another issue, and this was the issue. It appears that the seller only has a half interest in the southern part of their land, right? So this property is only half owned by the sellers, which is crazy. And then on top of that, to perfect that title will require a quiet title suit, unless the heirs from the 1956 deeds can be tracked down or otherwise. Basically, in order for me to clean up this title, I have to get the owners from the 1956 deeds, or just have a quiet title suit, which takes time and a lot of effort and probably some extra cash. And just for how much I will be making from this deal, it just doesn't make sense. Also, the legal description in that deed is confusing. It doesn't seem to line up with the tax map shown. So a survey would be required. So even this closing agent told me it might be easier to move on to greener pastures than to work on these problems out. You know, my closing agent is just being real with me. So as you all can see, the seller just wasn't completely open about different things, that he was a relative to someone living in that trailer. And even on top of that, you all, when I tried to contact the person of the trailer, they were very defensive. Like I was saying, are you guys part of this property? Because we're buying this property, and you all probably need to move out if you're part of this property. And then she was just very defensive through text. He was like, no, just talk to the seller. Don't contact me again, and different things like that. I was like, okay, sounds good. Just after all that and all these issues, you all, I decided just to walk away. You know, I'm still going to give them the contact information for my closing agent, for the closing attorney, and different things like that, to see if there's any way that they can help them solve their problem. Actually, I'm going to call the owner, and you all can hear me talk to them and just cancel out of the contract. In my purchase and sales agreement, if you all can see, I have a cancellation clause right here. Let me go look at it. So as you all can see here, this is my cancellation clause. As it says, buyer retains the right to terminate this agreement. Buyer may cancel the seller before closing date or date when the deed is delivered to buyer, whichever is earlier. So I retain the right to terminate this agreement. I may cancel before closing date, and different things like that. And so that's all I have as a cancellation clause. And that's how I cancel out of the contract. And so if you all are interested in acquiring this exact purchase and sales agreement that I use to close my deals, link down below, check it out. So now let's talk to the seller and see how the conversation goes. So my goal on this conversation is just to show them exactly, you know, how hard I work in trying to solve their issue, and different ways that could help them, and at the same time telling them, I probably have to move on from this property because these title issues. This is Matthew. How are you?
Okay.
Doing well. Yeah. So I was able to get in contact. We did a title search on the property and we just ran into a few things. Because I was trying to check about the trailer, like if it was part of the property or not. And yeah, it's not part of the property. And when I tried to contact, I guess your niece, she just wasn't wanting to communicate, and different things like that. And then, talking to our attorney with the closing, seems like you all just doing a title search only own half of the interest of the southern part of the land. So there's definitely other heirs to the property from a 1956 deed. And so there's a good amount of title issues with this property that needs to be fixed before I can continue on. So in the meantime, what I can do, I can give you the phone number of my closing attorney and closing agent so you can figure out exactly what you have to do to get a clear title on your property.
Well, I got a clear title.
The title search was just showing that you all own just a half interest in the property.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. I don't know if you knew about this before. Right now we can't close on the property at all until we get these issues fixed. Do you want me to send you over the information for my closing for the title company that looked up this information?
Yeah, let us know because there's other people calling us about it.
Yeah. Hey, for sure. I say, hey, you can still talk to other people, because right now our contract is void, because of these title issues. Yeah, you can still talk to other buyers about the property, but just make sure they know about the trailer in the back and that you ran into some title issues. That there's a title issue with you all owning 50% of the property.
That ain't right. That is not right. I got a signed paper from each of my siblings through court that I bought the place.
Oh, okay.
Siblings, because all their names are here.
Okay, and all of them signed. Okay, understood. All right. Well, yeah, I'll let them know about that. And so, in the meantime, it's just something that we have to work through it. And if you're talking to other people, you guys can still talk to other people, like other buyers, if you're getting calls from other people interested in the property. Because I don't want to hold you all down. Because I know for me, this might take me a little bit more time to research and get cleared up.
Oh, okay.
I'll just keep you all updated on what the title company says. And even if I can just help you all clear the title and you go with someone else, I'm fine with that. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll just keep you all updated, and we can go from there. The main two issues are they own only half of the not half percent, half of the property, 50% of the property, and the trailer in the back is just an eyesore. It's not supposed to be there. They're sharing the same mailbox with the main property. So those are the two main issues. So with that issue, I found out that they actually, the heirs, which are the children of the people from the 1956 deed, has signed some sort of document. And so I'm just going to let my closing agent, closing title company attorneys know this information because maybe it didn't show up in their search and different things like that. But in the meantime, I said, hey, talk to other buyers. If I can help just clearing this title and you finding a buyer, let's do that. I think for me and the property, it's just not a deal because I don't know what sort of issues and repairs may be needed on the property. And getting rid of that trailer is going to be an arm and a leg. But if I can help them at least clear the title, that's something I can do for free without getting paid. Also, just extend your help in what you can do to people, even if you're canceling out of a contract. See if there's other ways that you can help someone out. All right, you all. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was kind of long, but I think it was very real and raw, showing you this business, that there's ups and downs in it, and that You know, sometimes you come across deals that are a little bit more complicated, but just to help out a seller as much as you can. All right, you all, be sure to like, subscribe, buy my online course so you all can learn how to wholesale real estate. All right, talk to you all later.